My boyfriend wants me to leave if I don't change. 24 male and 24 female, 4 years. Hey everyone. I'm a young woman in my early 20s, and I could really use some advice. I've been in a relationship for nearly 4 years now, but lately, things have become really complicated. Let me give you some background. When we first got together, everything was great. I was an active, energetic person who cared deeply for others and was always there to lend a helping hand to friends and family. However, about 3 months into our relationship, I was involved in an accident that left me with a damaged neck. At first, it was just occasional pain, but then it escalated into constant nerve pain that started taking a toll on both my physical and mental well-being. From that point on, my health deteriorated rapidly, and I started experiencing a plethora of issues. Initially, my partner was compassionate and supportive, but as time went on and I didn't seem to be getting better, his attitude changed. To make matters worse, I had to leave my parents' house after high school due to limited space, so I ended up living in a dorm during university. Eventually, I moved in with my partner at his mother's place, as she was living in another country. In the last 2 years, I've been working remotely due to my declining health. Unfortunately, things took a turn for the worse when I was diagnosed with a debilitating autoimmune disease. On top of that, I received additional diagnoses that explained the constant pain I was experiencing. It was devastating news, especially considering I had been in excellent health before all of this happened. As if that weren't enough, my sister was also diagnosed with a severe disorder, and genetic testing revealed a host of issues that explained our poor health. It felt like our bodies were betraying us. A few months ago, I even contracted a neurological infection, which further worsened my motor function and pain. I suspect there might be more to the picture, but I'm unsure which doctor to consult. People have advised me that when it comes to neurological diseases, it's best to wait and observe, but I can't help but feel overwhelmed and uncertain about the future. Not only am I dealing with all these health challenges, but I'm also struggling to keep up with everyday tasks. I don't clean or cook every day, and I've been hoping to hire a cleaning company to help out, but my partner has been resistant to the idea. He does more than me in terms of cleaning. I understand his frustration, but I'm doing my absolute best to get through each day while juggling numerous medications just to function and work. Recently, I started a very intense injectable medication that has left me exhausted and prone to infections. Some of the side effects even include the risk of serious infections and cancer. On top of it all, my entire work team was let go recently, and I'll be out of a job in a month. I'm currently in the process of searching for employment, but it's challenging given my circumstances. While my partner loves me and I care deeply for him, he's not satisfied with the way things are. He wants me to improve, to clean more, cook more, be more active, and try to ignore the chronic pain. Unfortunately, the combination of inactivity and medication side effects has caused me to gain weight. I'm currently trying to eat less to shed some pounds, but that means I may have to reduce or stop some of the medications, which could have its own consequences. To be completely honest, I'm feeling incredibly depressed. It's as if my own body is working against me, and I constantly question whether I'm good enough for my partner, and I guess I'm not. While I have the capability to seek employment and establish my own space, I'm uncertain if I can also contribute to repairing our relationship. It's possible that some of you may have faced similar challenges, particularly in terms of maintaining good mental health. I'd be incredibly grateful to learn more about how you persevere, what strategies you employ, what resources you rely on, and how you manage to ward off depression. What do you think is the best approach here? At times, I believe I may require better treatment, but being a young individual, it's often difficult to obtain pain management from doctors. I would greatly appreciate any advice or guidance you may have in this regard. It's a lot to ask someone to become a caretaker in their early 20s. And that's the position you two find yourself in. It's unreasonable, in my opinion, for you two to stay together romantically. I imagine this will just lead to resentment fairly soon. Right now, I assume that you couldn't live alone. Which means your boyfriend knows that, and it affects, I'm sure, how he considers you and the relationship. If you can't take care of yourself, then I'd be ever free to do what he needs to do. If you're living with your BF, is there someone else you could live with instead who would be able to be a caretaker? Or is the plan now to just cohabitate with your boyfriend until the situation becomes untenable? I don't know where you are, but if you go through your doctor, then they can recommend programs and support groups to help you. Also, if possible, go on disability because that will take care of some of your finances issues. It's hard, but I suggest you move out of your so's home and find a way to be as independent as possible. He's expecting you to do the impossible because he's scared about the future and having to support you. He didn't necessarily sign up for that. Give him some space and figure things out on your own. You might be scared, but this is your life and you have to start getting strong where you can, which is in how to learn about programs and systems that will support you. Best of luck. I think he is asking for the impossible. It's not like you are being lazy. You were hit with some hard medical complications, so you physically can't do it. Maybe all this is too much for him to handle at his age. Sorry this happened to you and wish you well. Are you in therapy, or seeing a counselor? Chronic illness can certainly lead to or worsen depression, and it's important to manage those mental symptoms too. I say this as someone dealing with chronic illness and pain myself, and currently suffering a depressive episode as a result. Have a more in-depth discussion with your BF. Maybe he can't handle your chronic illness and is being horribly insensitive about it. Or maybe he is sad and frustrated seeing you so miserable, and isn't sure how to help and just expressed himself poorly. I am going through health problems and mental health as well. My husband is with me all the way. He's been so supportive. Your boyfriend is selfish and it seems to me he's got to go. If you can, please talk to your parents about what's happening and I'm sure they'll help. My 22 female partner, 22 male, is giving me an ultimatum. Be religious or end the relationship. Sorry for the formatting, I'm on mobile. To give context, we've been together for 7 years. He knew in the beginning of the relationship that I wasn't heavy invested into any religion, didn't have a religious upbringing nor did I ever look into any, and considered myself agnostic. I was aware he was religious, but didn't seriously start attending church until the beginning of last year. I've been happy going with him to church, although sometimes I've been reluctant to attend since it can be overwhelming for me at times. I've been trying to get into his religion as well, but I just have mental roadblocks that have been preventing me. Today, he mentioned that he'd like to get married, but only if I was completely converted into his religion. I was at a loss for words. I've been trying to connect with him through religion, but it hasn't worked for me. I asked him, what happens if I can't become religious? He tells me, why wouldn't you? I just feel I'm at a total loss. I've been trying, and he appreciates that, but at the end of the day, it just seems like this relationship won't work out if I'm not religious. It doesn't even seem to make that huge of an impact even if I'm trying. I am still willing to try, but a part of me feels like this religion aspect will not work for me. It's hurting me to see that this will impact our relationship so much. I have so many emotions, and I'm just so tired. I just have no idea where to go from here. Any advice will be great, thanks. Edit. Hi all. I appreciate all the comments and messages everyone has sent me. I'm posting this to add some more context about my situation. 1. We're not planning on getting married anytime soon, it just happened to be brought up. 2. As far as being religious, I don't believe he'd want traditional roles. We both have careers we've been working towards, and he knows that I wouldn't be happy as a som. But there's nothing wrong with those that choose to do that, because that's a job in itself. 3. As far as raising our kids, I personally wouldn't mind them attending church, but I've explained to him that if they don't want to go, or they want to look into other aspects, I am perfectly fine with that. He was okay with that as well. He truly is a wonderful person, who I love so much. I don't think his request is coming out of a place of wanting to control me. I've tried to speak with him more about it, and he says it's something very important to him, mentioning that he wants me to go to heaven. But I still don't know where I stand, although I know the clearest choice everyone has mentioned in the comments. I hope this clears a few things up. Once again, I really appreciate everyone's advice and input. Thank you. Any advice will be great, thanks. You're 22. Lots of non-religious people running around that don't want you to convert. Sure. It's 7 years, but you've got a decent amount of time to go looking for someone more compatible. I'm religious. My wife isn't. I have never demanded that she convert, attend services, or follow traditions. Where will this guy's demand stop? Conversion? Your marriage being subject to religious rules? Raising kids in the religion? If you aren't on board with those things, it's time to end the relationship. This is a deal breaker emo. Y'all started going out when you were 15. You were kids. You turned into adults with different values. Do not go against your values. You're 22. Explore and find someone who better suits you. He can be a wonderful person even if you have different values, but that doesn't mean you should stay with him if you're on different paths. There is nothing wrong with either of you, it just happens as people grow into adulthood. And that's why I am always wary of the longevity of these relationships that start at 14 or whatever. It starts with one ultimatum. Do yourself a favor and end the relationship. He'll only get more demanding and outrageous with his ultimatums: what you wear, who you can see, how you can act. F that. My 26M girlfriend's 26F affection is too much for me to handle. I feel suffocated and guilty. We've known each other for close to 2 years. We started messing around casually, then made things official about 6 months ago. This relationship is by far the most unproblematic relationship I've had. She's not toxic, truly loves me, and has no major red flags. Which makes me feel even more guilty about this. She's a very affectionate person. In some ways, a little too affectionate. She always wants to be around, always together. We're living in the same house, due to circumstances, and she's still never satisfied. She always wants to spend more time together, doing everything with me. Sleep, gym, TV, cooking, walks, shopping, weekends. Literally everything we do, it's together. She'll shower me with hugs and kisses every day. Even when we're both working, work-from-home jobs, she'll come by every 10–15 minutes because she misses me, while I'm literally in the room next to her. It's impossible to have more than a few minutes of personal time. Even when we go out, she's always so close to me, like we're touching the whole time we're walking. There's no concept of personal space at all. And it's starting to really annoy me. It feels like sensory overload. Just the fact that someone is always significant other close is becoming excruciatingly irritating. To make things worse, she has no hobbies, and she doesn't hang out with anyone else. So every minute of me doing my own thing is a minute where she's not with me, which she's not okay with. I've tried talking about this to her, many times. Each time, this leads to an argument about how this is just her way of showing love and that I'm clearly not interested in her the way she is in me. I've tried explaining how important my personal space is to me, but I'm somehow never able to get my point across. She feels like I'm doing this because I am bored of her. The very concept of personal space is so foreign to her that she can't think of any other reason why. She'll agree to give me space, but then when I'm sitting alone, enjoying my own time, I'll see her sulk in a corner, just absolutely miserable. So I give in, and end up sacrificing my personal time again. I feel like a total dick writing this because I know it's unfair to her. So many people would kill to have a girlfriend as loving as her, and I'm here feeling annoyed by it. Am I wrong in feeling this way? And how do I explain to her that I do love her, but I can't be expected to live within an inch of someone else all the time? Dude. She's a vampire slowly draining you of your soul. She is disregarding a fundamental need you have as a person to have some alone time. And she is totally disrespecting your wants. Let me ask you this, if she never changes, and it sounds like she has no intent to, how will this play out? Can you conceive of living like this for another year? 5? 50? If not, then it's time to end this. And for the love of all that's good and sparkly in the world, stop letting her manipulate you by sulking. She's not 3, she's almost 30. You're not being unfair to her, at all. It isn't healthy for a relationship for one partner to make the other partner their only hobby, interest, and social outlet. It's not healthy for you, and it's not healthy for her. If you don't want to go right to breaking up, the way to handle this is to set boundaries. That is, find ways to get time to yourself or time with other friends, and accept that she may not be happy about it but that you needed to happen, and so go ahead and do it. Continue to encourage her to find hobbies, interests, and friends of her own. That I'm clearly not interested in her the way she is in me. Well, you're not. In your defense, it sounds like she wants to wear your skin. I, too, would be enormously overwhelmed, if not creeped out, by someone with those habits. I would break up with them, because I would recognize we were not compatible. I suggest you do the same, but in public and in a location with few available weapons. You don't need to feel guilty. You just want different types of relationships. I'd end it now and just wish her well. You need to set boundaries. That is okay. Tell her that you are working and can't be distracted. Go give her a hug and kiss when you get up to go the bathroom, whatever. Encourage her to go out with friends. Tell her you want a guys' night to go out. If she can't respect that, you need to get real with the conversation. I get it. I had a boyfriend once who was ultra clingy. A year was my max before wearing out. I couldn't even say I was going to McDonald's without him showing up. It was very frustrating to have no space when I was a person who was totally content being alone. My spouse, 30F, cheated on me, 30M, and I don't know what to do. I want to preface this by saying that we were truly happy. We have been together for 10 years now and we're going to marry each other in a few months, and we were talking about trying for a baby afterwards. We get along great and our families love each other. We were truly happy. I want to get this point across because usually, when someone cheats, there is something we can pinpoint as the explanation of why it happened, but this was literally the happiest we had ever been. During a trip that we took to another country last week, I saw a message she sent to a guy where she sent nudes to him. I couldn't keep reading after I saw the pictures she sent him and closed the app. My world came crashing down, and after I got my bearings I confronted her and she tried to explain that it was a man from her past that previously rejected her but now added her again and started to show interest in her, and she felt empowered and wanted to get revenge on him, whatever that means. The man lives in another country and it is literally impossible for them to meet in person, which makes everything worse somehow. She threw everything we built for someone she won't be able to even see in person, and I can't get over this. I feel empty inside and I feel like my life ended. She deleted the guy from the app and is begging me to give her another chance, but I don't know if I can. I have been staying at my parents' and I have only been communicating with her dad. I can't even think about talking with her anymore, but accordingly to her dad she's been crying all week. She doesn't eat and barely sleeps. He said she looks truly sorry. But how can I trust her enough to marry her, have kids with her and continue building a life when she cheats on me during the happiest time of our life? I still love her deeply, but I don't know how to move on from this or if I can move on from this. My friends have been saying that I should give her a second chance due to the life we already built together, but I honestly don't know how to even look at her right now. Well, you said it really. She was willing to risk your relationship for some guy that doesn't even live in your country. That isn't wife material. Once trust is broken, it is very hard to get back. I do not see how you can move forward if you no longer trust her. There is more to the story. The revenge thing is the best explanation for her. Experience shows the best explanation for the cheater is most likely not the one. That is true. You don't marry her. You don't ever trust her and you don't have kids with her. You break up and never speak to her again. That's your only smart move. If you do marry her you will regret it. Cut her loose. She can't be trusted.